Hello my friends! Welcome to another English is hard. Another text Thursday. I make a tongue twister for myself. Twisters. I give up. Okay, I'm just gonna ramble on. So today I'm coming at you with Spinning Silver, and it is another installment, I suppose, in Naomi Novik's telling of very Slavic feeling but modern fairy tales. I thought it was gonna be like a series that started with Uprooted and then came to this, but they're two completely separate stories. I'm not even sure they take place in the same world because it feels quite different. There is, however, a connection that they are both placed in almost what I would say is the Baltic region countries like Poland, and I think this one, because the story in Uprooted was in Polovia. It started with Po, and very similar to. It felt like it could have come from Poland. This one is in the country Litvas, which I would suppose is kind of alluding to Lithuania. And I love them. They're so good. Okay, so I'll start talking about this one. I did record another review fully about Uprooted, but sadly I deleted the footage before I edited anything, because that happens sometimes. I'm very sad about it because I really like that video, but it happens. Okay, so Spinning Silver takes place in Litvas, and again there's a sinister thing that comes from the forest. That's the same as in Uprooted. And in this book they're called the Staric or Staric. I don't really know how to pronounce it. And they are a type of what I would say is ice fae. Like the Staric king controls the weather during winter. And they only come out during winter. When it's really cold, the Staric road turns up and they come out to raid the gold of the people of Litvas. And they need it for a reason, but they don't tell you that, obviously, anywhere close to the beginning of the story, but you can sense that the gold is important to them. And it turns out that Miriam, who is the main character, she's really cool. Her father is a money lender, and he's not a very good one. He's not good at collecting back on the debts. And after a few winters of starving and freezing, and her mother getting ill, Miriam has had enough, so she starts collecting on the debts, and she's actually really good at it. So she starts turning little coppers, and even if a debtor doesn't have like any money to give her, they can give her, like, maybe they're an owner of an inn that creates its own beer or their own liquor, and then they give it to her, and then she sells it and gets the money that way. So she's really good at actually getting the money back. And then there's Wanda, who she's a very sweet character. I think I actually like Wanda more than I do Miriam. No, that's not true. I do like them both. They're very different though. Like, you can see from the interesting way this is written that it has several point of view characters, and they all express themselves differently in their thought patterns. Like, Miriam is clearly, she's well read, she's well versed, she's cultured, she knows a lot of things, she's very intelligent, and she's educated. Meanwhile, Wanda, she is what happens when you have a D&D character that has a lot of wisdom, but I wouldn't say lower intelligence, but she's not educated at all. Like, she has no formal education at all before she starts working for Miriam, who teaches her a lot of things. And the dynamic between these two, they become good friends, and their fates intertwine also with the daughter of the local, I think, Baron or Duke. Yeah, the local Duke, who sort of, he has the chance to offer his daughter as to be Tsarina. So the Tsar comes to the town, and he gets very how do you say it, taken by Irina, who's also one of the point of view characters. And the way the dynamic is that kind of the story is told from the three different perspectives, or actually more. Wanda's little brother is also a point of view character, and the way he thinks. Oh, and that's what I was gonna say. Like, the way it's written, you can see that they work very differently when they think. Like, Wanda's is very simplistic, and still very wise. Like, she knows the value of a thing and can accurately remember how much it is worth, and it's easy to write it down. So when she learns how to write and read and do math, she thinks it's magic, but at the same time she can remember it accurately, because that's what has been necessary for her in her life. Like, she needs to remember how many goats they have, and how much like things like that. She's had to rely on her memory before she learned to read in her, I suppose, like late teens, early 20s. Now I got stuck. Okay, so the way it's written, like, Wanda's is like, I felt, I saw, like, it's written like as if it's a very newbie writer, but that's just because her thought pattern isn't as kind of musical as, say, Miriam's or Irina's is, who are both more literate and they have a bigger vocabulary, and it's very, very well written, because you can easily see who is thinking something by how it's written. So you actually get to feel what the characters feel and see, and it's just so well done. Well done, Naomi Novik. I love your books. So obviously there's an adventure, there's a little bit of sort of, the love story in here is very strange because it's not traditional at all. There are, like, people are being married off without their sort of consent, like they don't actually want to. Irina was kind of resigned to her fate from the start because she is the daughter of the Duke, so she's sort of like, yeah, I'm probably gonna marry some old gross man. But then she becomes Tsarina, and still there are obvious issues. And Miriam, she hadn't really even started to think about it, and she's somewhere around maybe 17 or something. And all of a sudden, she has to engage with the Starrick a lot. And it's very interesting how analytical she is about things. And she had kind of also expected to be married off to maybe make her family more well off or something like that. And since they're Jewish, she was kind of expecting to be married off to someone within that community, or like make some kind of connection to that, but that doesn't really happen. So yeah, and then there's more like the love in this story is more like between family members and how that works, more like the love for a partner. So I find that really cool, like how you can focus on love in different ways, and different, maybe yeah, different types of love. I'd say like family love is a very strong bond. And it can cause guilt, and it can cause a range of different emotions. All right, so this one, I thought before that I would give it a 4 out of 5, but I think actually I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 because now that I'm reflecting on it, I like it more. It is a little bit sort of slow to start, and reading the same event out of different points of view, like you do in this story, is both sometimes frustrating, but also it's more interesting than it is frustrating because you get the whole picture more like you would if you just have the main character, if it's not omnipotent or omniscient and knows everything, which is happens in some stories, and we know what I think about that if you've seen my other reviews. Okay, so Uprooted. I don't have it anymore because I had to hand it back to the library, and I adore the book. I'll put up a picture here about what it looks like. It's beautiful on the outside and on the inside. It's the story of a young girl who's not expecting to become the servant of the local wizard that sort of protects them from the forest, but that's exactly what happens because she has some magical ability, and therefore he had expected to sort of pick one of the other girls of the village, or the sort of line of villages that goes along the road that goes along the edge of the forest. The problem is that, yeah, since she has magical abilities, it's kind of his duty to educate her and send her on to court and register her with the king and stuff like that. So I have to stop saying and stuff like that because I say it way too often. I've noticed when I edit these videos. Anyway, so Uprooted. So the forest is kind of evil because it sort of spreads and it tends to eat villages, and the villagers have to flee. That's just the way it's been for a very long time, and the wizard, his job is sort of to protect the remaining citizens of the valley where they live. The people of the capital don't care at all. Their crown prince is only mad because his mother was eaten by a tree, and he wants her back. When he realizes that the girl, I'm very bad at names, I'm sorry, the main character, I really like her, she's sassy. When her best friend, who everyone expected to be taken by the wizard and be his servant for 10 years, everyone kind of suspects that he does bad things to them while he has them under his charge, but actually he's not a nice person, but he's not that bad. But I mean, when a man is alone with a young pretty girl for 10 years, people are gonna expect things. But no, he doesn't actually do that. I don't think that's a spoiler. Anyway, so he's supposed to protect the people, and when he's away doing something in the capital or something, or he's lured away because of some reason, the main character has to go save her best friend from the trees because for some reason, the tree people, they're not like ants. They're smaller and faster and more aggressive. Although if you make an ant angry, they are neither slow nor gentle. But anyway, these are kind of aggressive trees that can move freely, and they take people if they feel like it. So that's what happens to her best friend, and she goes into the forest, which basically no one... Oh, and she's really good at gleaning, which is basically when you can find things easily. And sorry, there's a train. So she goes into the forest, gets her best friend out of the tree where her soul is slowly being sucked out, and they rescue her. When the crown prince hears that this is possible, he wants his mother to be rescued as well, because she was taken 10 years ago. The wizard thinks this is not a good idea. He turns out to be right. And that's all I'm gonna say on that matter. This is such an awesome story because the characters are fantastic. And the magic in here is also so cool, and like the story in general of why the forest is acting as it is, it's just so good. That one definitely gets a 5 out of 5. I was not bored for 1 second when I read that book. This one I had some moments when, oh, can they just move on? No, that one is so good, and I'm looking forward to the next like Slavic modern fairy tale told by Naomi Novik. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like, please subscribe and share this video with your book nerd friends who might like fantasy books, because I have a few of those reviews, and I also started reviewing mystery novels because that's something that happened. I never used to like that genre, but yeah, apparently I'm into it now. And then what more? You can support me on Patreon if you'd like, and yeah, check out the playlist. And if you want to see how I did this makeup look, you can check out another playlist with my BB Best in the Test. It has timestamps at the bottom, so you can skip ahead to either the makeup tutorial part. I'm just slapping it on and pretending like I know what I'm doing. Actually not. I tell you throughout the video that I have no idea what's going on, but I think it turned out pretty pretty. And it's still not creasing. I've had it on for maybe half an hour, and it's very hot outside today, so far I'm happy. What more? Well, again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!